In this video, we're going to look at rounding off numbers to 10 and 100. So what do you need to be able to do before we begin? You need to be able to count from 1 to 100, starting at any number. You need to be able to skip count in 2s, 3s, 5s, and 10s, both forward and backwards. And you need to be able to read and state numbers up to 1000, such as 178. In this lesson, we will learn what rounding off numbers means. Knowing how to round off numbers helps us to estimate or roughly guess how close our answers should be when we solve problems. Or even in real life to check quickly if we have sufficient money or items for our needs. For example, if you need to buy sweets for the class on your birthday and there are 38 children in your class, the sweets that you wish to buy come in boxes of 20, 30, 40, or 50. You may ask yourself, which box should I buy? Box 1, 2, 3, or 4? Well, which would you buy? Discuss with someone learning with you and then give a reason for the one that you chose to buy. Pause the video, and when you're ready to continue, press play. Your choice should be box 3. Why? Because if you wish to buy for 38 children, boxes 1 and 2 will be too less. Box 4 will be too many, and you could waste them or even eat too many yourself and get sick. If you buy box 3, the 38 children will get 1 each, and perhaps you could give 1 to the teacher, making it 39, and then keep 1 extra for your best friend. What do we learn from this? We could say that we used rounding off to make a decision. 38 rounded off to the nearest 10 gave us the solution to buy box 3, which had 40. We can use this learning when we learn maths in class to find solutions to questions on rounding off. Not all our solutions will work out like the example of the sweets. When we round off numbers in our maths problems, we say that we round off to the nearest 10 or nearest 100. When working with numbers, it is important to remember the word nearest. In the examples of the sweets, we rounded off to the nearest 10, which was 40, because 38 was close to 40, just 2 numbers away. Look at the following questions. Can you give the solutions? Round off the following numbers to the nearest 10, 76, 31, and 95. Work with a partner to find the solutions. Pause the video, and when you're ready to continue, press play. What solutions did you get? If you said 76 rounded off gives you 80, then you were correct, because 80 is the nearest 10 to 76, only 4 steps away. But if you said 31 rounded off gives you 40, then this is not quite correct. 40 is 9 steps away from 31. The solution is 30, because 30 is the nearest 10 to 31. What solution did you get for 95? Which number will be the nearest 10 away from 95? The number 90 and the number 100 is each the same distance away from 95. What do we do now? Well, everybody now agrees that if you have a number ending in 5, the rounding off must be done going forward to the nearest 10. So your solution is 100. Now let's make our rules for rounding off to the nearest 10. When we round off to the nearest 10, we look at the last digit, or the digit in the units part of the number. If the last digit of the number is 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, then we must round off to the nearest higher number. For example, 47 rounded off to the nearest 10 is 50. 126 rounded off to the nearest 10 is 130. We could say that this is rounded up or forward. If the last digit of the number is 1, 2, 3, or 4, then we must round off going back or round down. For example, 83 rounded off to the nearest 10 is 80. This is rounded down because 83 is closer to 80 than 90. Can you try the following on your own or with a friend? Round off to the nearest 10. 255, 923, 22, and 687. Pause the video, and when you're ready to continue, press play. Let's have a look at the solutions. 255 rounded up to 260. 923 rounded down to 920. 22 is rounded down to 20. And 687 is rounded up to 690. Did you get them all right? Yes? Then well done. If you made some mistakes, don't worry. Just go back and watch the video again. Now that you are able to round off numbers to the nearest 10, the next task should be quite easy to round off to the nearest 100. What is different? When we round off to the nearest 100, we look at the last two digits of a number, the tens and the units. For example, in the number 78, there are 7 tens and 8 units. To round off to the nearest 10, we look at 78 and we ask, is 70 closer to 100 or to 0? To get to 100, it is only 3 steps. To get to 0, the number of steps is 7. So the number 78 to the nearest 100 is 100. Can you try the following? Round off to the nearest 100. 376, 932, 493, and 105. When you round off to the nearest 100, a useful hint is to first round off to the nearest 10, as this will remove the units and leave you with a 0 as your last digit. This makes it easier to find the nearest 100. Pause the video, and when you're ready to continue, press play. Let's have a look at the solutions. 376 rounded off to the nearest 10 is 380. The 80 is closer to the next 100, so we round up to 400. 932 rounded off to the nearest 10 is 930. The 30 is closer to 900, so we round down to 900. 493 rounded off to the nearest 10 is 490. The 90 is closer to the next 100, so we round up to 500. And 105 rounded off to the nearest 10 is 110. The 10 is closer to the 100, so we round down to 100. We have learned rounding off numbers to the nearest 10 and to the nearest 100. You must practice this learning using different numbers. Work with a friend and take turns to give each other a number and ask each other to round off to the nearest 10 and the nearest 100. If one of you makes a mistake, discuss where the mistake came about. It is fine to make mistakes because mistakes help you to look at how to improve and they help you to learn. If you are getting all the solutions, that is great work. Then you are ready to do rounding off to the nearest 1000.